So it has started, is what I want to say, but technically it has only started at the end, meaning that we will have to wait 1 week more before finally the dice of the battle is thrown. But all the settings are complete and it starts starting next week it starts, but it has technically started now. Yes, this is the high school DXD hero, the angry anime fan here to bring you that episode of what I presume is episode 9. This episode has some emotional attachment to it, as the first one begins with Issei wondering why the Ria said what she said last time. As he also begins to wonder that he is beginning to love her like a woman, not just as his master. However, and even though he has seen so many sides of her, both her kindness, her spoiled side, and many things more. However, at the beginning was like a cool, like a beautiful big sister, but now he's beginning to see her as a woman, and he is falling in love with her. However, deep within his heart, he still remembers that fallen angel Rainer that hurt his feelings deeply. She was gonna be his first girlfriend, but in the end, she turned out to be a homicidal fallen angel that mentally scarred him in more ways than one. And if you're asking me how is that even possible, well, the fact that when she was about to die, she turned into her cutesy form and just said, "Isikun, I don't want to die." Seeing that will traumatize anyone, you have to admit that. So during a scene where the girls of the team, of course they all strip down to their, well, everything. Although it's this time it's Ashia, Koneko, and Akino gives their encouragement using their naked bodies and their boobs by otherwise saying that she is gone from his life, Rainier, I mean. So Issei can move on. She has wonderful family members here that is that will always love that will always love him and love her, and also she they all love him as well. So as we see some very heavily sexualized scenes, especially with their naked bodies and the tig and all the different with Ashia and Koneko using the healing movements in the fact that in their naked bodies. They give us the encouragement and says that they think pretty sure that ES is very much in love with him. Feeling very moved with that, and also the fact that he has many girls loving him. This move gets broken. Well, of course, when you know Zenobia and Irina comes. So with that, with some more, with their new encouragement, the Issei wonders, can he really confess his feelings? Starting next day, they get up in a pendulum. The Rias Gremory team up because finally, at long last, it's time for the battle, the raiding game against Sayaog. As they get to their place, they are met by a surprising visitor. I have a very big feeling he's gonna become an antagonist in the future. Who is this guy? Well, it's actually a walking skeleton, looking very similar to that skeleton man from, Overworld. Was it Underworld? And in this manga, he is none other than Hades, voiced by the same guy who voiced Jack in Final Fantasy X. Turns out that Azazel is surprised with the fact to see Hades, who speaks in a very metallic voice, because apparently Hades is a god that hates all the other mythologies, including angels, devils, or fallen angels. In fact, he even calls fallen angel crows. So why is he here? Well, he just want to see this match because he missed the good old time when the Vanishing Dragon and the Welsh Dragon fought in the hell. The fact that he's carried by hooded figures that I presume are Grim Reapers, seeing that they have skeleton hands, further shows his arrogance. Wonders exactly what will happen. As they all prepare in the game and have been escorted to this place thanks to Ravel, a surprising guest appears in front of them, none other than Reiser. He was the main antagonist in the first volume, or second volume, so to speak, and at the beginning he was an lecherous bastard, but after a defeat by Issei and even some training with Issei, he has become a little bit more humble man, and he surprisingly gives Ria some encouragement here. She confesses that She is not as talented and strategic as Sonia, nor as strong as Cyborg, but she has only come here because of the strong team. And the Rias Gremory's team's true strength lies in their servants, not exactly in their king. However, Reiser also says that it's thanks to her kindness, her will, and her intelligence, and in fact, even charisma, that has managed to draw in so many different peoples. Of course, she says it's only because of Issei, but Reiser says, "You met the Red Dragon Emperor. That is your fate." With encouragement from that, Rias feels a new strength. And even as Reiser walks away, he shows a protective brother side to Issei, as he says to take care of his little sister. But if he ever breaks her heart, he will burn him up. So with that, Issei sees a gets called by Lord Sirius as he sees a video with kids who couldn't be at their match, but all have Oppai Dragon merchandise. As he even reads letter, Issei gets encouragement, as Sir Six says to Issei, "Win win for the children's sake, because this is not supposed to be an adult match. Will you fight and protect the dreams of these children?" With that, finally, Rias Gremory's team walks inside as we see for the first time in clear view the Sayabog team, with an announcer, with the announcer being a polite man called with special guests of Azazel and none other than Diehouse Belial, who is the first-rate game champion. We actually see him in full view this time, with the arbiter being Rudger Rusker. They explain the very complicated games that of this rating game. In fact, I'm still not having a little trouble understanding it. They're doing a dice figure game, so to speak, meaning that each of the kings will roll this dice, which is a normal six-sided dice, but the number of numbers of these with the together number they will get from these dice will determine which one they will send out, meaning that depending on how high the points of each of the bishop, knights, or pawns are, one gets to be sent out. And in fact, they can, if one knight is valued a number of points and another one is valued a number of points, then they can be sent together. Because pawns are 1 point, bishops are 3 points, rooks are 5 points, and queens are 9 points, and yes, so on. And also the same can go with rooks. Well, so they can plan this one. However, it's worth noting that they cannot, if one knight wins, for example, or so like that, they cannot be sent out immediately after, meaning that you have to send them out they cannot be sent out in a row. So you have to be strategic on which one you will send out to the doll. And the game will end if the king is defeated. That is the one and absolute rule of this game. And each team will have a phoenix tier. So Rias Gremory's team all agrees that Sayabog is the one who's going to use it. After all, he is the biggest threat. That's saying that doesn't mean his team is not threat either. With that, each team rolls the dice, even though the animation of doing that seems to be a little bit bad. The combination of these numbers are 2 and 1, meaning they have to send out someone who is valued of pawn or higher. Only a bishop and knight may be chosen. And since Issei is a pawn with very high points, he cannot participate. So Rias decides to send out Kiba Yuto, while Sayabog sends out his knight, a man riding a horse clad in full metal armor. Starting next week, the game will really start. This is basically this episode. Again, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I mean, of course, the nude scenes may have lowered the emotional value here, but it still had some very sweet moments, because in High School DXD it usually combines the emotionalness with some very etchiness. It's a little bit over the top. Maybe the nude in these parts were a little over the top, but hey, it's what High School DXD is all about. But the emotion of saying that Issei confessed that his heart was wounded by Rainier really did hit there. It was also very nice to see that a lot of people came here to support Rias and even Issei. The fact that Sir 6 shows the video of children all cheering for Oppai Dragon is very wonderful. Ravel and Irina are standing in the special place where all the Oppai Dragon's fans is. Whatever, this game may not be animated the way I hope it will be, but I hope it will keep the emotion of it all. Even although that we've been introduced to Hades too. He looks scummy. You give me your thoughts if you have any.